you tell us, where you live and, where you grew up in America and stuff like that?
Okay, so I currently now live in Uijeongbu in South Korea. I was raised in just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
in area called Jeanette and Greensburg.
All
My
right.
earliest memories were of Jeanette,
Jeanette.
and then we moved to Greensburg, Pennsylvania when I was like first grade,
Uh,
and then lived there until I was in my 30s, and was, and then now I'm here.
and how do you like it in Korea?
I love it in Korea, actually.
You love it here.
I do. A lot less dramatic.
That's right. Peaceful.
It's safer.
A lot
Like if
safer.
I had the time, the
Mhm.
energy, and the want or will or need, I could walk from one side of Seoul to the other and never have to worry about being in the wrong neighborhood. That's saying something,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
You're from DC. You
Oh
you know that better
man,
than I do, right?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I grew up in northern VA. And we're about 30 to 40 minutes away from DC, depending on which route you go and traffic.
Mm,
And just from Fairfax County in between, like you'll have like what there's Fairfax County, with Arlington, Alexandria, and
mm, mm.
whatnot, and you just go into the wrong places. You people, they're gonna try you.
Yeah,
They're gonna try, and I don't blame them because that's just the mentality.
we call that a temperature check.
Yeah,
Where
that's
I'm from, they
right.
don't check your temperature
Yeah,
for you. Yeah,
they gotta see
see
where
how
you
hot and cold you
from,
are. Yeah,
what you about,
right, right,
what you repping.
right.
And so, yeah, Korea's much safer. And well, okay, so I don't know about you, but like, even though I live in Korea, whenever I check on Facebook or Instagram, but specifically Facebook, or like if I watch anything about what's going on in the States, it's crazy over there. It's crazy. What do you think? Like when you whatever you watch in relations to back home in States, what do you see? What goes?
Most of the
Yeah.
time, I only keep up with that stuff because my family still lives there,
Right.
and they're affected by a lot of that stuff. Um, to me, right now, it seems like, generally speaking, American society is just like turning on
Going
its
down.
head.
Yeah.
I don't, I, and that's not to say
Hmm.
that there are not a lot of amazing, wonderful people that still live there and still
100%.
believe in
Yep.
normal, traditional things. But I think people have abandoned reason
Yeah.
for philosophy or an indoctrination or whatever it's happening over there. It's just, it's almost unexplainable. People from, even from the United States that haven't been there in a while,
Hmm.
or people that are from any other part of the world, they look at America, they're like, "Well,
Yeah. What happened?
I don't know,
Can't
they're,
explain it.
yeah,
It's like a real phenomenon. Like it's crazy. Uh, so then, okay, like you and I, last week Charlie Kirk, he got assassinated,
mm, yes,
and so and it seemed like really just the assassin, or the person who assassinated him, he is upset. Oh, good God. So he killed Charlie Kirk because he disagreed with Charlie Kirk's um, worldview. And, his roommate is a biological dude, but he's, transitioning to be a woman.
mm.
And so, and then
So it's kind of like an honor killing almost for him, right? In
right.
that sense. Okay. I
And so,
haven't been
what do
keeping
you
up
think?
super closely on it, but now about the whole reasoning and whatever,
Hmm.
I haven't put a lot of thought into that. I just know that Charlie Kirk being killed
Hmm.
was very polarizing,
Yeah.
even amongst just my friends and just the people among,
Wow.
uh, because a
Yeah.
lot of us are still believe in like tradition. I guess you would call them traditional Christian values, but
Yeah.
like I don't even know about just traditional Christian values. There's a lot of things that even me as a Christian, I have given way on a lot of things.
Hmm.
I've become more tolerant of certain things, but there are certain things that, for example, Charlie Kirk was a Christian person who spoke about, the trans community needing to receive help, and the black community needing to
They need help.
change their philosophies,
Yes.
and they need help, and
Mhm.
what things actually constituted as help and what was more enabling,
Right.
right? I agreed with him on a lot of those things, right?
Mhm.
I saw eye to eye on his view with like Christianity, faith, um, the whole, trans community thing, and
Mhm.
illegal immigration, a lot of things, right? But there were some things that he could say that he had said, or a lot of things that if you don't look at it in complete context, it makes him look very bad. And
That's
I
right.
can, I
Right. They
can,
cut a lot of things out.
yeah, and I can understand why a lot of my friends feel the way they do, and I don't
Mhm.
knock them because they're living under the pressures of all of that,
Right.
right? Where I'm not anymore.
Right.
So,
That's
but
true.
it's funny that it's so polarizing, even just amongst my own friends, right?
Right.
Just a few people that I know, and
Mhm.
that they feel, some of them feel like, I can say most of them, nobody really celebrated his death, but there were a lot of people who were like, F him, right?
Mm.
And I was just like, dang, that's kind of rough. Like, dude just killed just something he believed in, whether you agreed with him or not, right?
Right.
And they're like, no, he was a racist. I don't care about him dying, but
Mhm.
like, I feel bad for his daughter. Is his wife gonna have to live without her husband, and blah blah blah. So, but I don't like dude. He was a racist. He was this and that and the fifth. So like, there's a lot of back and forth on it, and I just stay out of it. There's like a lot of things that he said that I agree with. There are some things that he said that I was like, right?
Mhm.
But one thing that is intolerable to me about the whole situation is he was killed for speaking.
Yeah.
No matter what you say,
Mhm.
no matter who agrees or disagrees, right?
Mhm.
We've seen people killed for speaking before,
Yeah.
and it didn't do anything to stop the movement.
Right.
So it's kind of counterproductive. Have you seen the
Mhm.
movie Dune?
Dune.
Dune,
Dune. No.
Dune. They remade it, and there was a part where the emperor was trying to take over this planet, and he asked his daughter, because she was going to be the princess and taking his place. He said, so what would you do about this rebellion? He said, I think we should send assassins. She said, no. She said, you can't kill a prophet. They only get stronger when they're martyred,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And what happened with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and JFK, and like, now it's going to go on to Charlie Kirk. Like, I'm not going to compare Charlie Kirk to like Dr. Martin Luther King, but like, you understand, it's the whole thing. It's a message. He was
Mhm.
sending a message, right?
Right.
And he was killed for it. And I don't agree with that.
Mhm.
I feel like right now that we're in the time of the Bible that literally says
The right. They'll say right is wrong and
that
wrong is right.
right is
Yeah.
wrong and
Yeah.
wrong is right, and they'll
Absolutely.
chase after any ideal, any whatever, their itching ears or whatever, their burning
Mhm.
ears. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've studied my Bible like I'm supposed to, but like, but it really feels like we're in that time.
Yeah. Right.
Like
We're
we're
closing in on the last days.
like,
Right.
how does it need to be explained
Mhm. Yeah.
that there is a man and a woman, that
That's
there's a
right.
male and a female? Why does this need to be explained
No, I
at
think
this point?
the way I look at it is the powers that be, and like um, for Christians, I guess for some people out there they're not Christians, but for Christians everything's a spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
and so
Yes.
in the frame of a spiritual warfare, they will try to destroy or disrupt everything that God made in his image or what God deemed right. And so if God made a man and a woman, and a man is a man, a woman is a woman, then Satan and his demons will try to break what that is. So from the very beginning, then Satan will want to try to make, instead of saying a man is a man, oh well, if you want, you can be a woman. If you're a woman, you could be a man. If God said marriage is between man and woman, woman and man, well, Satan will come in and say, no, it doesn't have to be between man and woman. If whatever God sets, Satan will try to destroy what that is, the foundation of it. And to me, this is a prime example of it. For me, like,
How do you feel about the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, first off?
first, I think that is deep. So, like, from my understanding, is the assassin or the guy, he belonged to some like gaming chat rooms and stuff like that. And those chat rooms, those members are related to like leftist or democratic socialist groups. And I heard that there were even some money transactions in between, like within several weeks of the actual shooting, assassin. So I think it's gonna come out, but there's gonna be some money involved and more people involved, and so it was more like they planned it. And when I look at current gun violence, and that some of it you see are people in the trans community. I think originally a lot of these gun violences was that they probably tried to set it up to try to get, to be honest, I'm just being honest, I think they tried to get more, they wanted black people to kill. But when it comes to this type of violence where you're killing a speaker, a well-known person,
Politically motivated.
yeah, black people aren't into that. You get what I'm saying? Like, they'll get into like, why are you in my neighborhood? You don't represent us. Why are you talking bad about us? But when it comes to like trying to shoot someone like Charlie Kirk, or going into a Christian school and shooting one of those up, no, because black people are very religious. But what is another group where they do have some mental, where they're mentally unstable a bit, and they're on medication, and it doesn't take a lot of instigating for them to act on violence. Well, I think they found the new group, which is the transgender community, and so they're trying to hit these different groups to push them, motivate them through money or other means to get them to do these acts. And then you can never let a good crisis go to waste. This is a very big crisis. They don't want it to go to waste, and now you have both sides trying to gain as much grounds as they can from it. So I think this was pre-planned, and there's more behind it because it's coming out from the investigation. As for Charlie Kirk, like, I've seen the clips where they try to say like he didn't want civil action, but when I saw the full clip, Charlie Kirk said, because it's not that he doesn't want civil action to help black Americans. He says he really wished the civil action was directly only for black Americans. But the way they wrote it is now you have men competing in women's sports, and the men will use civil action that was really just meant for black people, but the way it was worded, they're taking advantage of that to compete in women's sports, and for other programs. And so what Charlie Kirk says is not that he wished civil action to happen because of those reasons. If he could go back, he would just make only for specifically black people, not all these other groups of people.
Right.
And so, I think there's a lot of things that, or like they try to say he was racist about saying that certain black women only got those positions because of DEI. And so, like, he mentioned Kamala Harris, but Joe Biden did say he was going to get specifically a black woman to run for presidency. You look at the Supreme Court, the black female justice in the Supreme Court. Once again, Joe Biden said, I'm going to get specifically a black female woman in the Supreme Court. And here's the thing about her. She is a Supreme Court judge. And they asked her, can you define a woman? And she said, I can't define a woman. And so my thing is, yeah, when you look at the people who they bring in through DEI in these high positions, it's not that they're not dumb. It's not like well, Kamala. Sometimes she sounds a bit weird, but like that Black Justice, she's not dumb. But
At
the
all.
problem, yeah, she's
Yeah.
not dumb at all. But the problem is when you bring in people where you have to force them to
make a statement.
choose and make decisions of a specific ideology, and to support that ideology, you're limiting their best judgment, and you're limiting their best ability to fully think and make the right decision. And so that you're handicapping them. They're handicapped. There are things that they really would, if politics wasn't involved, they'll make a good decision, but they can't make that decision because of the hands that put them in there. And so they're handicapped, you know. And a lot of high positions in DEI, that's what it does, because you're bringing in people in your political range. Like, that crazy dude that stabbed that Ukrainian girl.
He wasn't crazy.
Now,
He
okay.
knew just what he was doing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
That was
well,
racially motivated.
yeah, that was racially motivated, because I saw the video where after he stabbed her, he was like, "I got a white girl," or "I stabbed a white girl," or something
Killed
like that.
that white girl.
Yeah.
Killed that white girl. I was like,
Now-
oh my goodness, man.
But here's the thing, though:
What an animal.
the judge that let him go,
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
okay, she was there because of DEI, okay, and she let him go because she was running a
She
program.
didn't even pass the bar. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
right. She's not even a lawyer, right? Because in the state of Virginia, you don't have to be a lawyer to be a judge. So, but she was appointed there as DEI, and she ran a program where, like, if a person that should go to jail or prison can be released as long as they go to that program that she operates, where she makes money. And here's the thing: in her right mind, if she wasn't politically pushed to make decisions in favor of that political position or ideology, in her right mind, she would have sent that man to prison, regardless of she had passed the state bar or not. That's just common sense,
Right.
However, because she was put in there through DEI, where they're like, look, we put you, you know who put you in here, you know what group put you in here, you need to make decisions favoring us. And so that she's handicapped, you know what I'm saying? And then she let this guy go, and he does some bullshit like that. And so that's an issue about DEI. That's a real thing, because if you, DEI or not, if you're in that position, you just need to do the right thing, not because you were put in there through politics and you got to start making decisions to favor the politics that put you in there,
Right.
And
Speaking
so
of politics, here in Korea, there was a pastor that was arrested.
he was a big pastor. He was a big time pastor. So I think it was like Daegu or Daejeon or something. He had like 1 million people come and rally, or even
Two,
say,
2 million.
2 million.
I
That's
saw
right.
it. I saw
Yeah.
on the news. I was like, wow.
And basically, this administration right now, the current president right now, he is more tied to China and North Korea than he is to America, because normally the Blue Party of South Korea they are closer, or their ideology is they need to have closer ties to North Korea and China. However, and this current president he said some bad, like he was talking shit about America in the past. He said that America occupied South Korea, like, and the word that he used, occupied, is the same word that we use when, or colonized or occupied.
Yeah.
It's the same word that we use when Japan occupied and colonized us.
Right.
So to use that term about America during the period of time where the United States government helped establish the current South Korean government system that made it what it is today, that's pretty rude and disrespectful. And so, yeah, now I know he's trying to be more moderate. He did say that South Korea will stand with America in the current world order, but they need to establish ties back with China. So China won't be hostile towards South Korea, and I do agree with that. I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah, to an extent, yes.
Yeah. That is correct.
See, and it's funny that you say that, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but that in itself How you said, I agree with that part. So
Right.
even with the whole thing, now taking that in light of things that happened in America, things that the whole Charlie Kirk thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's not right versus wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk is evil or he's good. It's not that. You can agree with a lot of things that he say with and disagree with some of the stuff that he says too.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with the American government. The American government is evil, it's stupid. No, there's a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
that that are being put into place that should be there.
Right.
That should have been there.
Mm-hmm.
But just because like I here's the thing about American people that I know about American people because I was once American person. I grew up there.
You were American.
So
Yeah.
American people will make emotion-based decisions
That's
instead
right.
of logic-based
Logical.
decisions.
Yeah.
This guy said this one thing this one time. I hate him.
Right.
No matter
That's
how
crazy.
good this policy he's trying to put in is,
Yeah.
I don't want him in here because I don't like him. It has
Right.
nothing to do with like or not like. First off, when is the last time the American people had a good choice?
Not in a while. Well, they
Now
might.
it's devolved to choosing the lesser of two evils. It's come
Right.
down to that over the past
Sure.
3-4 decades. It's been I voted for this one just because I don't want this one in there, right?
Sure.
Right? The whole thing with Trump and Biden, like I was glad Trump won,
Yeah. Actually.
but not because I like Trump. You
Better
would,
than
for me
Biden.
saying that,
Yeah,
me
it
saying
was
that would
better
take
than-
it as like, oh, well, if I would say that, see, I can't say stuff like that on Facebook because my friends would oh, you like Trump, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
No, I don't like Trump, but I think he's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
So
sure.
like, it's
Uh,
it's
And,
strange.
You know, like everybody knows if they just look at my Facebook from 2016, between Trump and Hillary, I like Trump. Between Trump
Yeah.
and Biden, I wasn't even shy about it. Between Trump and Kamala, because I knew the policies on that side. And I'm a Korean person. Now, the thing about United States of America, this is the thing. When United States just sneezes, the whole world will catch a flu.
Yeah, that's very
Americans
well
are
put.
hot you, and everyone everyone's
well
sick,
put, yeah.
right? And when I looked at Hillary, when I looked at Biden, when I looked at Kamala, all I saw was when these people come in, they're going to strengthen the Chinese Communist Party. And it's been true. Like when Biden came in, the Chinese Communist Party got extremely strong. They got strong under Obama. They got strong under Bush. They got strong under Bill Clinton. And the thing is, if you look at Asia now, you have a lot of protests of South Korean people protesting against the Chinese Communist
Yeah.
Party. You have it in Japan. You have it in Indonesia. You have it in Philippines. They're fighting over water territory. Also with Vietnam,
Right.
Taiwan, and a strong Chinese Communist Party is a threat to all of their Asian neighbors. And so for me, I just knew someone like back then Mr. Trump, but President Trump will just fight against the Chinese Communist Party.
Right.
And the people around him will fight against the Chinese Communist Party. As to someone like Hillary or Biden, they've been receiving money from the Chinese Communist Party
For years.
for a long time. And so for me, if I want safety in this region of the world, I need a strong, very pro-America, like America needs to be number one. We can't let China become number one. Otherwise, this country will slowly become more like China. And you can already see it now because they already arrested a pastor for some interview he did, not even recently. But okay, that's Korea's case. Now, let's go back to America. So, in your opinion, because a lot of this with Charlie Kirk, like if anyone says, oh, Charlie Kirk's an evil guy, a lot of it has to do with remarks that he made about the black community.
Mm.
So, in your opinion, and one of the things that Charlie Kirk did say is, look, the black community is the black community and the Native American community. They are the two most impoverished, the most hurting communities in America,
Yes, he did say that.
right? And so, in your and and Charlie Kirk never really denies systematic racism. He's just saying, yeah, even if you count all that in, you still got to keep moving.
Right.
So, but in your opinion, how bad, or first, do you think there's systematic racism towards the black community, and how bad do you think it is?
I don't think it's any worse now than it was before. I think black people nowadays have it better than we've ever had it. Okay, I'm Gen X. I'm 47 years old. I was born February 2nd, 1978, right? So a lot of things were different back then. Growing up, I was called everything. Because look at
You
me.
look like you're everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was called everything from gook to chink to nigger to spick to everything. But back then, see now, if you hear somebody say the hard R, right? Everybody, they glance, they pull out their phones, they oh.
Yeah.
Right now, back then, people wouldn't even bat an eyelash at that. Like I
Oh yeah.
I
I used
remember,
to get chewed up.
dude, I
used
remember
to get
being in
roasted.
school and the kids would say something. I look at the teacher don't even look up from their papers. They don't even look up from what they're doing. So it's not more like there are things that are better now. World climate is better now for racism because it's more frowned upon now, at least.
Sure.
Right? Whereas before it was always frowned upon, but it was more like before it was frowned upon like you shouldn't do that, that's not cool, right?
Yeah.
In the areas that I was at, right? It was that's not cool, to where now it's like, oh, I can't believe he said that, oh my gosh, right?
Right.
So even that, like the amount of black people you see in better jobs is much more
much more.
now than it was
Before.
before. The amount of black millionaires that exist in the
lot
Americans
more now.
are like 70% higher than it was when I was growing up. Like somebody, not like 5-10%, like a lot
more.
right?
That's
So it is. There's still, I can say, in places like the world will never be rid of racism. The world will never be rid of it. It's not as violent. The violent racism and the horrible racism is getting less and less, right? But even here there's racism.
Yeah, in Korea, right?
Like I went to go get something today. I'm a Korean citizen. They don't know that when they see me.
Right. They don't know.
They don't know that when they see me. I walked in. I tried to get Leia a bowl of soup today, pojang, and the lady a takeout, and the lady was asking me something fully in Korean, and she was speaking about. I couldn't really. So I was trying to tell her because the last time I didn't understand her. She just gave me all the soup and the stuff, but it was like unprepared. It was like the broth and all the stuff, but it wasn't cooked. So I had to bring it home and cook it. Right?
Yeah,
I was like, but I didn't know how to say that, so I just used like papago or something. It was like hot, cooked, right? And she was like, and then she tried to ask me something else, and I was like, I'm sorry. She just got a physical, actual, like visual attitude. And she started cooking and everything. And when she was done, there was actually people had come in, and they had ordered and whatever. And I was like, okay. Like, when she was doing this order and she was getting all frustrated with me and everything, it's not like she was busy. There was nobody in there. There was nobody else in there. And then the people came in while she was fixing my food. She got their orders and stuff. Then when she went to tell me my stuff was done, she was like, hey, like whistled at me like a dog. Like, she's like, hey. She's like, So I came there and picked it up, and then she's like, ugh. And she take it to the counter, and I paid for it. And she like grabbed my card. I was about to just take my card back and leave the food there and leave. But I was like, you know what? All right, I didn't even say anything. I was like, all right, I took my food and I left. And I'll just never shop there again. But like, she would not have ever done that to an actual Korean person. She would have never done that, right?
But I tell you what, though, he lives in Wijangbu. I'm not trying to no, I'm talking shit. People in Wijangbu, they're a little bit lower class and
Then Seoul.
like I live in Ilsan. That don't happen in Ilsan. not even.
But that's what I'm
perform.
saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
That's the wild part. That's why it stands out so big to me, because as I've been here, that's the only time it's happened here, even because it's a Korean thing. And it's not just a Korean thing. Anywhere you go, when you own a business, I don't care if you go to Pakistan,
Well, you're not
they know
supposed
if
to
you're rude to
disrespect-
customers,
Yeah.
you just don't get the customers back, right? So it's just like,
Crazy.
okay, that's
crazy.
basic marketing and economics, right?
Yeah.
But but that stuff happens anywhere, right? In America, it was much worse when I was growing up, but it's nowhere near like it was. So if you ask me today, is it more racist today? No, absolutely not. Is there more opportunities for minorities and black people specifically? Absolutely. Is it where it should be? Probably not.
No.
But the problem is, I think some of the programs that were put in place with the right intention, people found loopholes for, and they
See,
abused it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when it comes to, in my opinion, about systematic racism, of course it's there. It's 100%. The thing is even when you look at programs like DEI, believe it or not, most of the jobs go to white liberals. Like, yeah, maybe over 70%, I think. You could look this up, Google it or Chat GPT it, but DEI jobs, the high positions, like 80-90% are run by white liberals or white people, whatever you know. And the less than 10% of high level positions of DEI is run by black people. And then like the overall jobs, like I think seven or maybe over 70% are given to white liberals.
Here's the thing,
So that's a scam. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, like that's such a scam because when you look at a conservative, they would okay, this is the thing. If you look at the conservative, they'll say, "Hey, look, if you're part of the black community or you're a minority, hey, a lot of these white people they pander to you guys, right?" And then the black community or other minority groups are like, "What the hell are y'all talking about? We pandering. We don't get no damn jobs.
Right.
What are you talking about?"
Right.
And then
Have you seen our neighborhood?
yeah, they're like, "What?
In the 2020s, Flint, Michigan didn't have water for months.
Right." But here's the thing. Yeah, because to the conservative, when they think of DEI, they think that the black community and other minority groups are just getting these jobs. But when you actually look at the data, it's white liberals that get most of the jobs. All it is just a bunch of white liberals that pander to the black community or other minority communities through their mouth. "Oh, well, you deserve this. Oh, those people are bad." They'll pander with the mouth. They just won't give you the jobs because they're taking the jobs. And so that's a scam. When you look at war on drugs, and I've said this on Facebook, you don't even want war on guns because that's just war on drugs. It's like war on black people and Hispanic people, because back in the 80s, back when all the drugs were coming over from Mexico, they knew where they were going. It's not like the FBI, CIA didn't know that the drugs were coming into the black community, other minority communities.
And how many how many people in the hood do you think had boats and mules bringing all that stuff across?
Right. And
It wasn't coming across by them.
They knew it's kind of like you knew that they were intentionally bringing the drugs over and bringing it into certain specific communities. And then it's called war on drugs, like they're really helping people, but it was really just to bring those communities down. So that's how you lock all these people up. That's how you separate the family. It was intentional. Because if you're the government, you could have done something. You could have stopped it, but they weren't. They're they were orchestrating it. War on drugs, systematic racism. DEI, that's systematic racism.
The funny thing, when you say systematic racism, people would think,
right, they think it's like, oh well, they're black or they're Spanish or they're some minority group. We don't.
The systematic racism that
happens
happens is
It's
still
the program.
It's still just
yeah.
white people taking advantage of those groups in their name.
Exactly. There's
In their
100%.
name.
But this is the thing, though, and I say this all the time. When you look at it, it's just white Democrats more than because on the conservatives, they're not trying to use black people or other minority groups and use their name to benefit off of it because they're cut off. Because really, majority of black, Spanish, and other people don't fuck with white conservatives. They just run with the white liberals, and this is the most fucked up thing. And I used to say this all the time, is if you look at the black person's argument is, okay, we were slaves. We helped build this nation off our backs, right? And even after slavery, we still have to help build this nation, right? And we didn't get much out of it from in return. And really, and this is why some people wonder why I support the Republican Party more than Democratic Party or conservatives over liberals, is because, okay, it was the Democratic Party that was into slavery, started Ku Klux Klan, that even after slavery they're still abusing and taking advantage of black people. And then now, so then if you look at the black person's argument, is okay, all those years, whatever, decades, centuries, we helped build the nation, but we didn't get much out of it. We just suffered along the way because you guys made these programs, but a lot of, once again, welfare program, all these programs that hurt the black community, democratic programs. And then now, this is the funniest part. This is one that, like, when I see this, I'm like, these people don't go to Jesus, they're going to burn in hell. After all this stuff, even now, then you have the white liberal that will tell the black community, hey, you guys deserve reparations, you guys deserve DEI, you guys deserve this and this and that. However, when you look, it's just white people taking advantage of the black and other minority communities, and off their names, they're taking all the money. They're taking all the jobs. If you look at welfare, if you put it into, it's not literally $22 trillion, but you're adjusting it to current value now of money. If they're saying that they invested $22 trillion into poverty, but you still see all this poverty now, how is that possible? And to me, it's possible because all that is they continue to make the black and other minority communities suffer, but they're using them as a transaction method for the government to give money to their donors.
It's basically it's huge
It's
laundering.
money, yeah. All it is so, like, back in during COVID-19, I said all it is. This is a scam. When they're telling everyone you have to stay home, only the major stores can be open, all the small mom and pop shops have to be closed. And I was saying it the whole time. All that is they're using people as a transition mechanism to pay back money to their donors, the big corporations. And all this is when you look at what's happening to black communities right now or other minority communities, and how the way they bring the drugs in, they try to separate the family, this, that, say we'll give you jobs, but they're taking most of the jobs. They're just using them as a transition mechanism to launder money through them to their donors. That's why
They wash it.
yeah, you're washing out the money. And that's why most billionaires vote Democrat. They support Democrats because it's a scam. It's the whole system. That's how it's designed and set up. And on top of that, even if you're part of the black community, this is really funny. This is the fucked up thing too. You know, like the LGBTQ, like personally, I don't even care if you're gay, trans. Like, none of my business. I just don't like it when they try to, bring it
Make
towards
it
the
your
children.
business.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so here, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad
Yeah.
we broached this topic, right?
Uh-huh.
Because
Before we start, the only thing I found fucked up is, even like, if you're black, you're not even like the side chick of the Democratic Party,
No.
right? You're not you were like at one point okay, you were like maybe at one point close to the main side chick, but
Dude,
now
you're-
you've been replaced where you're just not even needed.
They're-
You get what I'm
exactly.
saying? And
They
but
found
you,
a new.
they found a new side. It was the LGBT or plus the Q transition plus whatever. But when you look at them, how did they get that momentum? The momentum of the LGBTQ or the TQ plus community, not even the LGB or whatever, just the TQ plus community, all these other minority communities, the Muslim community, Islam and all that, they all ran off the black community's backs at the beginning. Oh, we support black community. Oh, we support this. And then when they got more grounds, more funding got bigger, they pushed them to the side. And so when I think about that, yeah, I mean, there is systematic racism, but my thing is most of the black community still vote Democrat. They still run and support the same people that have been screwing them over
For
after
decades.
decade after decade after decade after decade. And well,
You know, it's funny. I don't even.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not liberal, but I don't even consider myself
conservative.
or
Right.
anything like that either. I fall in that gray area. I guess what would it be? Libertarian, maybe.
Libertarian or
Something
anyway
like that.
central.
Basically-
Center. You're in the center.
Basically, I feel like there are things from both sides that Venn diagram that I believe that I do want. Like, I want ideas from both sides, but without the far left and the far right. You know what I mean? These hard. I'm one of the live and let live guys, right? So like, you want to smoke weed? Okay,
Okay, let's
right?
go.
You wanna do a lot of like a lot of the things that people like would disagree with, like in the conservative side, like, oh, there shouldn't be no weed smoking, or, you know, they believe, you know, I'm a Christian, but you know, I still think that, you know, I believe that I think that American society has strayed so far because it has separated the Bible and God from
Yeah.
everything else, and that's where a lot of their problems. But I'm not going to push that as my political agenda. See what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that I'm like conservative either, because that's a big conservative thing,
Right.
right? But I feel like with the whole TQ plus community, I just
Yeah,
posted
it's
something
a
the
TQ plus.
the
It's
other
not even
day.
LGB. Yeah,
The other day I posted a video that I found. It was a gay guy talking, because it was funny, because I finally found a video of him, because a lot of my, you know, gay and lesbian friends talk to me about this stuff. They're like, yeah, like, I'm just not into that, because like, okay, I play video games. I used to be into sports, but I got too old, so now I play video games. And most of my day-to-day contact comes on Discord. When I'm gaming with people from all over the world, Canadians, Americans, South Africans, you know, wherever they're at, right? And there have been times where a person who has transitioned comes in,
Okay.
nobody judges,
Yeah, nobody
right?
cares.
Like there's plenty of gay people that I play with and talk to every day.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask them because, frankly, sorry, I don't give a shit.
Okay, yeah, not my business.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I just don't
That's not my
care.
bus- yeah.
One way or the other, like, can you
Just
make
give a
raid
game.
tonight or not? Are you gonna show up at the raid tonight or not? I don't care who you're sleeping with. Are you
Yeah.
gonna make the raid tonight or not? Or do you want to run a dungeon tomorrow? Like, or
Yeah.
we're gonna putting together dungeon groups. Are you in or out? So that's what it boils down to. But when it comes down to the community and how it's affected, is most of the trans people that come, the gay people, you'll figure out it's a guy talking like, hey, are you gonna make raid tomorrow? It depends on what time my husband gets home from work. It's like, oh, his husband. Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay.
All right.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Cool. Well, text us and let us know if you're gonna be able
Yeah.
to make the team. You know. So, and then okay. So he's gay, but like, it's not
an issue.
it's not subject matter,
right.
right? It's not subject matter. That doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Anytime that a trans person has come in to our groups, whether we're running dungeons and stuff, because you do get into just BSing, like we're not doing, like we're in between stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, Like, yeah, I'm about to, well, oh man, I'll say something like, oh, Leia's cooking dinner, it smells so good. Oh, what you having? Blah, blah, blah. She make a sinigang. Oh, what is sinigang? Oh, it's a Filipino dish, blah, blah, blah. You know, stuff like that. Somebody's, oh, my kid's bitching at me in the background, yada, yada. Oh, uh-oh, you know, got to go play mom, you know. So and then we figure out, oh, yeah, my kid's sick. And then, you know, later on, you ask, oh, hell, how's your kid doing? Oh, it's good, blah, blah, blah. You know, regular conversational stuff. Like, it's just day-to-day stuff. But whenever a trans person comes in there, they will find a way to turn any topic of subject matter into a conversation about their sexuality or their transition, or you could be talking about literally anything. Oh, what are we having for dinner tonight, Ish? We're having, Leia's cooking pork chop tonight. Oh, I remember before I transitioned, I ate pork, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, it's got to be, everything's got to be about their everything's got to come down to their sexuality. Like people just don't care.
Yeah.
Now, and that's what the gay people that I talk to say. They're like, that's what we wanted the whole time. The LGB community just wanted you to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Just let me be me.
Right.
Don't persecute me, and I don't care. Like, right? And that's where most of them are at. They're like, the TQ plus community,
like,
they don't want equal treatment. They want preferential treatment.
That's
right? And the LGB community, they just want treated equal. Hey, I'm a whoever I choose to be with, or I'm a girl. Whoever I sleep with, or whoever I come home to at night is my business. Or can you hire me for the job? Like, that's it, right? That's all they wanted. And now you've got this TQ plus community that wants to do, tranny reading to the kids, and men walking into ladies' bathrooms, and competing in women's sports and all this stuff. Listen, the gay community never requested that.
That's right.
The gay community never requested that.
They're not even down with all that.
At all.
LGBT, they're not down with that.
Like,
it's that TQ plus.
The video was talking about the dude, the gay dude. Yeah, the LGBT community, we are looking for a divorce, full separation, no custody. Like, I don't want, like, right?
Yeah.
He said we are looking for a divorce from the TQ plus community. We don't care about pronouns. We didn't ask you about we didn't ask for pronoun preference and this and that. Like, all of this, because it comes down to, it is an actual, okay. I got into a discussion with another friend who was a nurse, or went to nursing school. I'm pretty sure she's a nurse now. She was explaining to me that being trans is not a mental illness. I said, "You're right." Okay, I said, because she was explaining to me the whole medical side of things, and I said, "Okay, touche, right?" But show me a trans person, and I'll show you a person who has mental issues. The trans community, like, coming out trans, first off, the percentage, the odds of being born in the actual medical terminology that she described is literally less than 1%. You're like point something to be born that way.
Okay.
Now, you mean to tell me that less than 1% of the people that you meet are like, because I can tell you, everybody that I know nowadays has met or come in contact with more than one transsexual person. That means that we're already past that the odds, right?
Right.
So of the people that claim to be actually see, here's the problem. It was used as a crutch. The fact that science found that there is a actual chance to be born with this condition, it then became a scapegoat for a lot of people's mental illnesses. Yeah. They're pushing their mental illnesses off as, oh, well, I'm trans, I'm this and that. No, bro. The chances that you're born that are so low, like, you have a better chance of actually hitting the lottery.
No. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
You have a better chance of actually hitting the lottery than to be born with that medical term. The medical version of that.
Okay.
Okay. The other version of that is I just or I feel. Your feelings are not in any medical journal anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Your medical,
right.
so what you feel and what you biologically are not the same, right? So you can feel like you're a woman. But back in the day, if you said, I feel like I am God, I am a God, right? Somebody would come haul you off and put you in a straitjacket, right?
Yeah.
But now, as to your point, there are government programs making money off these people.
Oh, it's 100%. It's a scam.
There's a government so they're going to put, oh yes, you feel this way, you absolutely are.
Sure.
We've got medical proof that exists. Even though the chances, if 1,000 people come into the building claiming they're trans, there's maybe 3 people who are actually medically that trans term that we're talking about, right? So trans, whatever it is, transgenderism, to me, isn't, even if it is not a mental illness medically, if somebody comes to you and says that they are transgender, it's more of an outward sign of an inward problem. How did I describe this to somebody the other day? So if you cough or sneeze, does that mean you're sick? No. I could sneeze right now because something gets in my nose. It's a biological function of my body, right? Or I could cough because I ate something spicy or because I just something wrong. Does that mean I'm sick? No. It's just a biological function of my body. But if somebody is sitting next to me on a train who's coughing and sneezing profusely, more likely that is an outward sign of an illness, which is how I see transgenderism right now. It is an outward sign that something inward is wrong or off, that they're dealing with trauma, self-loathing, body dysmorphia. There's so many things, and these things require help.
Mental health.
If I became anorexic and I started losing weight, right? And I started losing weight crazy and had severe body dysmorphia, right? You would tell me, bro, man, you need to talk to somebody.
That's right.
Like, you're my brother in Christ. I love you, man. I can't watch you do this to yourself, right? Or if I just talk to you about, like, if I started coming to you about how I just hate being me, like I'm not American, I'm not Korean, I'm not accepted by either side, blah, blah, blah. I just want to end it all, whatever. You'd be like, bro, you need to talk to somebody. Listen, I'll put you on. Like, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk to me. I know, right? I'm here if you ever need to talk. Like, don't do anything rash. I'm here if you need to talk. But I'm gonna look up some numbers. I'm gonna give you some numbers of some doctors. You need to talk to somebody, right? You would tell me that I need help, right? But here are these people that suffer from severe body dysmorphia, self-loathing, because gay people, why do trans people get to celebrate Pride Day? Because they're not proud. So a trans person says, I'm a man, but I like men too. I must be a woman. No, you're just a gay guy.
Yeah.
They've been around since forever, right? You're just gay guy. That's your business. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're just a gay dude. You're not a woman. That doesn't make you a woman. That doesn't mean you have to chop your dick off, right? I'm a woman and I'm attracted to other women. So you're a lesbian, okay. That doesn't mean you have to chop your tits off and grow a beard. You're just attracted to other lesbians have been around forever, right? Pride, the actual word, why do you get to celebrate Pride Day with actual lesbians and actual gay people who have come out of the closet and said, I'm gay or I'm lesbian and this is just who I am?
That's right.
Right? Yeah. When you say, no, I have to be a woman if I like a man, or I have to be a man if I like a woman. No, you're taking zero pride in that, right? You're showing everybody else that you have self-loathing, right? So you're a self-hating gay or a self-hating lesbian, first off. And then when you go through your transition, it turns into narcissism. Because I have not met yet a trans person. I'm sure that there are some out there that exist. I'm sure there are probably maybe somewhere a well-adjusted trans person, right? But I've not met a trans person yet, not in comms, not face-to-face yet, who hasn't made everything all about them. Everything is always about them. Everything comes down to me. Like the ones that you see, the videos, the one dude that films himself in a restaurant saying, "Excuse me, it's her
some
hand."
white dude with
Yeah,
curly hair?
yeah.
That dude,
It's
man, he
all
lost
about
it, man. Yeah,
attention.
that's right.
They're extremely narcissistic. So if you tell me you're trans, it's almost like you're telling me you have symptoms of a sickness. Even though actual trans, if trans is not an actual clinical mental illness, right? Because it can be medically, it can be an actual medical condition, right? To this like 0.02 amount of people, right? Now you're just telling me the odds are you're sick.
That's right.
Because if I come next to you and I'm sneezing and coughing all crazy, I could just be having an allergy attack, but more than likely, I'm probably sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So with this whole movement, the government decided to take advantage of all that. You think they're
100%.
stupid and they don't know this? You think that they don't know? You think that the people that have gotten these jobs don't know this? They know. We're going to open up programs for these people.
100%.
We're going to and guess what? Ain't none of them free, bruh.
No.
You still paying for all that, right?
It's a look.
And we're going to tell you it's okay to be that. So to make sure, that's called job security.
It's not even they're not even telling you that it's okay. They're pushing it to little kids so they got a future job.
My goodness.
And so originally, you had a lot of money and funding, originally just for the gays and lesbians and bisexuals, for them to be able to get married.
Correct.
You know, to win it through the legal system because that's how they won.
Yes.
But after that, if you would have ended it there, the funding would have stopped. And so to continue the flow of money, they changed it to the Q plus community. Okay, and so, but the LGBTQ, the TQ plus community is actually even a bigger market, profitable market, because when you go through transitions, first you have to pay for.
That's expensive.
Yeah, that's very expensive for the surgery, facial surgery, your genital surgery. After that is
hormone therapy.
Hormone therapy. That's a lifetime thing. You're paying for that for life.
Yeah.
The therapist, you're going to see a therapist. That might be a lifetime thing as well. And so that's it's a multi-billion-dollar market.
And it's its own demographic now.
Yeah, because if it was just if it's LGB, the money is not there. You get what I'm saying?
Nobody
like
cares
they wanted
anymore.
in Korea, no one even cares. Like, cool.
The LGBT community don't care. They don't want people to care.
Right. Like nobody even
That was
cares.
the goal.
Right. But that was the goal. But now that they won the goal and it wasn't a profitable thing, that's where the TQ plus comes in, because that's very profitable, because that's lifetime.
And as you said, going back on the point that you made, they became the star bitch.
Oh, straight stars. They're the main show. They actually
Black
try to use
communities, minorities, they don't give a shit.
They don't look. They only care about the black community or other minority communities when, like, they just need to
Voting time.
It's
That's
voting
the only time.
voting time. Or what they do is, okay, really, I hate to say this, but the black community, if you look at how they're being used, they're just like a mechanism to transfer money to a new community. And so what it normally works is you have the black community, and then you try to run the LGBT community through the black community, you try to run the Islam or immigration through the black community, like these immigrants, and say, oh, we're pro-black, but then once they get enough funding and split, they move on. And so the black community is kind of really just there. So some new community could act like they're supporting and backing them, and then once they get their own separate funding and everything, they're gone. But it normally they try to run it through the black community, and
It's a
even now
pyramid scheme, and they're always at the bottom. They're always at the bottom.
always at the bottom, always being used, and it is a big scam because it's just all these people are doing is they're just using these different groups to act like they're helping them by saying we have these programs, but the programs are never really meant to help them. The program is really just meant to use them as a transfer mechanism to get the money back to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they
Cleanly.
they need to break it down. Right. You can't just print the money and give it to you direct. We'll just funnel it through these people.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been working. And so
And what happens is our prison rate's still 13% black,
right.
13% black Americans, but
Look at the
but constitute like 80% of the prison population,
That's
right?
right.
Still,
That's right.
that hasn't changed. For all the Democratic people that have been in the offices that y'all voted for, that all these, what got me sent here were laws that were put in place during the Clinton era, during the Clinton administration, when the Clintons put those laws in, people didn't really Then 9/11 happened, and they're like, oh, got to enforce all the rules now, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, you weren't born here, and you committed a crime. You committed a crime, and you weren't born here. Therefore, you are now deportable. We don't care that you've lived here 30-some years and have never even seen your birth country. We don't care. Right? Yeah. Those laws were put in. So now if you adopt a child, they automatically become, but those laws weren't grandfathered.
I see.
Right? So they didn't go back and say, well, yeah, you were adopted in 1978. Yeah. No, that doesn't matter. Those were put in by Democratic parties. That was Bill Clinton, right? So it's easy. And I think the other thing too is that they know among the minority communities, the black community, even though financially not the next best next to the white people, but they are community strength strongest next to the white people.
Right.
Community strength, meaning Black Panthers have risen up at one time or another. Black Wall Street had risen up at one time or another. There are things that black people had done that white people ain't see coming, like, whoa, we got to cut this out. Like, they getting way too big for this, right? You go if for people who may or may not already know about Black Wall Street, go Google it.
Yeah, it
right?
was there.
Yeah, Google it. So like things like this. So this is why, as Young was saying, as my brother was saying, they will use the black community as the first Lego in the new building that they're going to make.
Whatever they're coming up with next.
Because they're the strongest foundation.
Yeah.
And black people are easily
Very
used.
passionate,
The reason that they're easily used is
emotional.
because they are passionate. They are emotionally driven people, because a lot of bad shit has happened to them over time and time and time again. So they get tired of it. They're like, fuck that. I'm not watching my people go through this again. I don't want this racist dude, this dude grabbing by the pussy guy in office. This dude is talking about this and that. Like, I don't want this freaking clown. And like, get rid of this dude. And like, but they are easily distracted. Look, we like you. You're our friend. We want to offer you programs. Right?
Yeah.
Here comes the far left. We want to offer you programs. We're your friend. Come with us. Come with us. And then how much do they actually benefit from that program? Not at all. Not at fucking all. They are taken advantage of and wrung out every time, dude. I hate it.
All the time.
I hate it for black people there.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why I'm like, you should know the scam by now. You know, like they've done it to black. I mean, if you're a black American, and then you just see the whole structure, and even like, oh well, you know, the white people don't understand what we go through. They don't. You shouldn't expect them to know. Oh well, some of the other we don't. You can't you can't expect other minorities to fully grasp what it is to be like go through life as a black person in America. But it's like a chess game. Sometimes you're playing chess, but the people who's watching it, they're seeing things that you don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like if I tell people, if I told my black brothers in the States, like, yo, you know, the whole thing is a scam, right? Like you do know
They don't.
they
They
won't,
would tell
yeah,
you, "You're not here. You don't get it."
yeah. I'm
Like,
like,
yeah,
okay,
I'm not there. That's why I get it, and they
you're
don't
right.
get
'Cause I'm
that.
outside the game,
And they don't get that.
right?
Like I'm watching from the outside in, I'm watching them manipulate you every
Right,
time at every
and
turn, and you don't get it.
it's not for you. Even like if you look at the music industry, like you heard it from Ice Cube, or you heard it from all these other guys that almost made it up there. There was up there, and they talk about how they had to do some gay shit or some rituals to be
Mhm.
famous. Or Ice Cube just saying that
Cat
they
Williams,
wouldn't.
Cat
Cat
Williams
William,
put everybody
okay,
on blast. Yep.
yeah, and then even Ice Cube was like, yeah, I wanted to rap about these things, but they wouldn't let me. And so even if you look at like the culture, they intend the people up there who are on top of whatever black culture, you know, Snoop Dogg, I don't care, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, all of them, right? They're fucked because those guys are part of the program that's bringing down and holding people down. And you can tell because look, you're telling me someone like Jay-Z who's a billionaire, P. Diddy who's worth a couple $100 million. You're telling me these guys couldn't make songs of teaching people how to get wealthy, but they don't. You're telling me that even like K-pop, all this other music genres, they can make songs that teach people how to be financially educated, how to improve and move up in their lives, but none of them do. Why? Because the music industry don't allow it to happen. They don't want people to know. They want to bring people down. And so you have that, you have the culture aspect because people are coming out and saying it. They're saying, oh yeah, you know, I could have moved up, but then they wanted me to do this and that, and I wasn't willing to sell myself to do that.
How do you feel about cancel culture?
Cancel culture is a scam. I mean, you know, but because what it is, but cancel culture, I think is going to go away because they're no longer the majority. So cancel culture was convenient when the left was the majority, but now that they're losing grounds, that now they want to be like, oh no, we're not about that. Why are you guys trying to cancel us? And so the game is shifting. But um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of these things and cancel culture was really just set where okay, these people have good points and they're exposing truth, so we got to cancel them so our soldiers, our side wouldn't hear them.
The reason why I said that
You
was
know?
because I think Charlie Kirk fell victim to cancel culture.
Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, sure. I mean,
He was canceled,
He was canceled. Yeah,
and it was horrible the way that it was canceled, but like he was canceled
right.
because they couldn't stop his voice because, like I said, whether you agreed with him or whether you completely that's the other thing. I had another video I put up where it was an African dude saying like, here's the one thing that people are completely misled on. And he played a thing saying, yeah, I don't agree. I don't think Charlie Kirk should have been killed, but I just don't agree with anything. Even though I don't agree with anything that Charlie Kirk said, I still don't believe he should have been killed. He said, you hear, where's the fault in that?
Yeah,
He said the fault lies in when they said, I don't believe in anything that he said, which is false. Because there's a good chance
he believed in
that
something. He
that
agreed.
that there are some things that Venn diagrammed that he said that you believe this, that you share a lot of the same ideas with. There are some things that he said that you can't stand, and because of the things that he said, that puts you in your emotional state. It clouds your vision of the truths that he spoke and the 80 other percent of the things that he was saying.
Yeah.
Right? So, like I said, for me, I think that, especially as you were saying, the black community is very easily run by their emotions, almost like a bull with a ring in his nose. Right? They know all I gotta do is pull the race card, and I can get the black community behind me like that.
Well, I think a part of that too is, and I haven't said this, I only said it to a couple people, but I haven't actually, I should still have the messages and stuff, but you know, people who follow me on Facebook or Instagram, but specifically Facebook or even on YouTube, like I expose a lot of pedophilia shit.
I hate
Especially
that,
with the politicians, and I've been doing it since 2015. I'm like an OG of this shit. And here's the thing, this is no lie. I could go through a lie detector test. There, a couple years back, or maybe a little bit longer, the Illuminati asked me to join them. They were like, hey, you know, I forgot which set, but they're like, hey, look, we're collecting like 13 people every month. We want you to join. You join, we'll give you a flight, a plane ticket to come see us, and then we'll give you like $2 million or a little over $2 million after you go through this ritual and get fully accepted. I was like, no, I serve only Jesus. And I know that's how I knew. I was like, okay, a lot of stuff that I'm saying, I'm pinching nerves, and they're watching my account. This is no lie. And here's the thing. And after that, I contacted another Illuminati group, and I was like, hey, look, somebody here is saying they rep you guys. They're trying to recruit me. What is this? And there's a thing where they tell you to do something, and this is like if some, not me, I'm not Illuminati, but if an Illuminati, a real member, sees this, they know I'm not bullshitting, because is you make a video holding a cup and you say something and something with light, and they'll know what I'm talking about. And here's the thing. I know if I would have said yes and they would have told me stop with all that fucking bullshit, not bullshit, but that truth, exposing all the truth that you're doing, you got to stop it. And not only you got to stop it, you got to run what we tell you to run. That's what we're paying you to do. And that's probably after all the crazy shit that they'll ask me, whatever I would do as a ritual. And here's the thing. And that's me. I'm a nobody. You get what I'm saying? I'm a nobody, and I was offered that deal because I was very consistent. Because I saw the logics, I saw the circumstantial evidence, I've seen the eyewitness testimonies, and the Holy Spirit told me, you got to let people know. Don't let people in the dark. Even if not many people see it, you just got to do it. And here's the thing. To me, when it comes to these higher ups in all these different communities, in the white community, black community, Asian, whatever, but the people in the black community, like the leaders, they were offered that, and as far as I'm concerned, they took it. They took it, and that's why they're there. And so then when it's time for them to pull whatever race card or whatever their leaders in the black communities, the black regular people in the black community look up to them, they trust them, they believe them, and they just follow. And that's what I see happening. And I know this because I have a better understanding. You get what I'm saying?
And the Bible talks about that. Yeah. The shepherds, the false shepherds that will lead my sheep astray. Woe to them. Like, there's a special place for you.
That's right.
Like, for the people to accept that and willingly lead people in a direction that they know ain't right.
That's crazy. Ain't right. You know that is wrong. But you sold your soul, you took that money, you took it up the ass or whatever else you did, you fucked little kids, I don't know what you did, you did something. And even I have one younger brother, he was in the rap game. He even made music videos, and it got on BET, and it even got on MTV, and he told me that he had to spend his own money to get up there, because during the process, the Illuminati went to him and were like, hey, you know, you need $500,000 or you need this much money to pay to get your stuff up there and stuff like that. You join us, we'll cover all of it. all you have to do is when we ask you to take some pictures wearing dresses and stuff like that, you got to do it. And he was like, no, I don't need you. I'm going to do it on my own. But eventually he fell off. But I know how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know because I was exposed to a whole, even to this day, like, I put up shit all the time. But they came to me and were like, we'll give you $2 million. I know how that shit works. And I said no, you know? So,
Yeah, because to them, too, like, what
what's
people
2
don't
million
understand
is nothing.
is,
Chump change to them. But it's big money to nobody like me. You get what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, Jesus, you know, I used the money for you. You know? But I was like,
yeah,
nah.
it's
Like,
just, it's
right.
basically you
Yeah.
gotta be Gandalf, right?
Hey, you gotta sell
Well,
yourself.
here it is. Gandalf
You know.
told Frodo, like, if you're not a nerd and you're not into Lord of the Rings, there's a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
There was a ring that was really powerful, and it could rule all these other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he told this kid, "You got to take it and destroy it." He said, "No, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of." He's like, "That's scary. Where I
Yeah.
got to go? Here, you take it." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"I can't." He's like, "Do not offer me that ring." He said, "Do you understand? I would take that ring with the
Yeah.
intention to do good, and through me,
Right.
this thing would corrupt me, and I would corrupt and be such a powerful weapon for evil
Yeah.
that it would be like, no, as I can't. He's like, I can't even touch that ring." Right?
Right.
So that's kind of like that money. That's why I said they
Nah,
kind of
man.
Gandalfed
Well,
you. You kind of like
I
you
was
had
like,
to
no.
turn down the ring of power,
Yeah.
right?
I'm not selling myself for that. You know,
Yeah.
and I had a God Jesus experience in my mid-20s. Like, I don't think God is real. I don't believe God. I
No.
know God
Yeah.
and Jesus. I know them. I met God, right? And yet Jesus is God, but I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my kids are my kids. Like, I know. And so, but I have a better understanding of the system because I was offered. You know what I'm saying? I know people who were offered. And they sell themselves. And but the upside is, and this I really believe this, I don't care what community you belong in, if you really give your life to Jesus and you just surround yourself with people who gave their life and they're living for Jesus, that's when you get yourself outside of that matrix. And so, yeah, even if you're black and there's systematic racism towards black people, but you surround yourself with real people who they have, they're living for Jesus and they're white, Asian, whatever they are, and you surround yourself with them, you're gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna build above. You're gonna break above that, because tell you the truth, just like there's systematic racism towards black people, now, because I see it, there's systematic racism towards white people. And you can see the foundation, the layers that's being built, especially towards these white conservatives. And they're trying to break and destroy the white conservative man. They're trying to break that community because in order to break America, you got to break them. They're the foundation they need a break. And you can see it now where how
You know why that is though? Because they still believe in the nuclear family.
exactly. Well, except I mean,
Uh,
we do, but anyway, yeah, go.
The nuclear family
Mm-hmm.
is the foundation of everything that that America stands for,
Mm-hmm.
right? And B, the military, right? You cannot find a you cannot find men willing to die for their country more than people who still believe in a nuclear family, because they have something to die for.
That's right.
Do you understand? When they got a wife and kids, that's something to fight for. That's something to live for. That's something to die for. Once you remove the whole nuclear family thing, all the men that are left, why would they? Why? Why do I want to go to war for what? Look at all the men. Look at the feminization of American men right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's openly being feminized.
It's crazy. No.
Like I posted a meme yesterday or the day before where it said, "Fathers teach your sons how to be men before teachers teach them how to be women."
Yeah.
Because that's the agenda they're pushing right now. It's an agenda-based thing.
Yeah.
They don't care about what you feel. They don't care that you feel like you're a man born in a woman's body or a woman born in a man's body. They don't care about that.
That's
They
right.
have an agenda. You
That's
think
right.
they care about you? You're so far gone that you think that they actually care about you.
Right.
That's wow.
And the way this works is like this. If you look at America, the reason why they have implemented a level of systematic racism now towards white conservative men, and it has to do with his point is, yeah, you have the nucleus family, right? And what happens is you have white people, they're split in half. You have conservatives and then you have liberals. And so it's around half. But white liberals don't care about the nucleus family. They're not thinking about getting married. You don't even know what they identify as a gender, let alone getting married. And so you already, if you're the Chinese Communist Party and you're Russia and you're trying to break down America, you already took out half of them. Now you got to find a way to break down the other half of the white population in America. And the other half is the conservative white man. And so what they have done is through funding, through the left, and through funding these different organizations, they have made it where they vilify and made the white conservative man the bad guy.
They demonized it.
They demonized the white conservative man. And then when they did that, if you're a white conservative male and you say that, or you got your mega hat, whatever, people are gonna attack you. They're gonna come up to you when you're eating, oh get out, oh you're so terrible, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And when they do that, when they do that, imagine based when like back in the days, when you have racism towards black people, when white people were doing that to black people, where they go up to black people on the streets, they'll go to black people in restaurants, they'll go to black people in schools, they'll go back up to black people in public, oh you black, blah 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 blah, like that. Now it has changed. It has flipped where now you can randomly go up to white conservative males in public places, in private places, say whatever you want. You can even physically attack them. Ain't no one gonna help you.
And the problem is
yeah,
that they just flip it.
Yeah, they flip
because as soon as they rise to defend themselves, oh you're racist.
That's right, and that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, you're a
If
bigot. Oh, you're misogynist.
Yeah.
Oh, you're something like it's
Yeah,
wild.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. If you're a white conservative male and you just want to stick up for yourself and you just want to say, no, I'm not what you say, they're like, yeah, all of a sudden you're a racist person. And so they're trying to break that. And if you're a minority, if you're a black person, you're an Asian person, you're anybody, and you say, hold on, man, this whole thing on our side, that most of our population running with this thing is fucked up. Like, no,
Yeah.
I want a family. No, something is wrong. This is evil. Like the thinking is this ain't what it should. And then you run over, you walk over to the conservative side. Now you're called a sellout.
Uh-huh.
You're
an Uncle Tom.
You're
Yeah.
And because what people don't understand is, and this is you can look this up this back like maybe 1980s, 90s, 80s, 70s, where you have ex-KGB members or KGB
Yeah, I
agents
saw
talking
that.
about how they're going to break down America, and they've implemented the Russians, the KGB started the breakdown of the American society, but now the Chinese Communist Party is trying to finish it.
Yeah.
Because you have the fundings of people who are so billionaires of Chinese money going into America, and then they're backing, supporting these progressive groups or movements like that. And so what you see is, and part of these big companies, whether they know it or not, or maybe to me probably they're all involved, is when you send all these manufacturing jobs from America overseas into China, more to China than anyone else, what you are doing is, if just like how Black America is like, hey, you guys aren't giving us the jobs that you're supposed to. This whole DEI program, I don't know what y'all conservatives talking about. Y'all ain't pandering shit to us. We're not getting the amount of jobs y'all talking. What do you mean? Because the white liberals are taking it. Same. The white conservative males in the southern areas or whatever areas where the rural areas, those factories, all those jobs went over to China. They lost their jobs. So you're breaking down the white conservative areas economically. You're breaking them down socially because they're on the bottom of the whole social path, the way I look at it. And they intentionally, this is intentional. This isn't like an organic thing. This was all
Yeah,
funded.
this was by design.
This is all by design. And this is the spiritual warfare. Well, now you have one side. Now it's not even about so much color anymore. So it's not even like, oh, well, you're a white conservative, black conservative, Asian conservative. That actually is out the window now. It's just, are you conservative and are you liberal? They're starting to break down the barrier like that. Because if you look at like the shootings, it's not like, oh, the shooter was a white transgender. Oh, the shooter was a black transgender. Oh, the shooter was an Asian. It's just the shooter was a transgender. You get what I'm saying? Oh, the person was a liberal, a black liberal, a white liberal, or any liberal. No, just the person was a liberal. The person wasn't a white conservative, black conservative. No, the person was a conservative. Or even, because we have LGBT, no, we have LGB conservatives. You might have old school transgender conservatives, and they're a different breed. They're not this new breed. And so this is all from the outside money, and they broke it up like this because they want to take America. They want America to fall. They want to break America down, and that's another reason why. You know, and I know where the most of the money is coming from the Chinese Communist Party or guys like George Soros. They hate America anyway, and that's why for me, um, I'm glad more and more people are starting to see it. They're starting to see it, and they're trying to fight. And I was seeing stuff like this. I was saying stuff like this, and I was seeing stuff like this. Now, 2015, I got into this because I fell in the rabbit's hole of all that, um, all these politicians and celebrities running these. You know, they were pedophiles. Not all of them, but anyway, good percentage.
Child trafficking.
Yeah. And then what happens is, for me, is I look at them and then it got into, oh shit, there's a lot of, this isn't just like some weirdos and it just wanting to have sex with little kids or just wanting to have sex. It got into, oh, okay, these are occultic groups. And then later I was like, oh shit, now you have government groups. You have the CIA, you have the Mossad, you have the Chinese, you have the Russians, the KGB, all of them are running these operations as well. Or allowing it to run because they could get dirt on these politicians and celebrities. And then you realize, oh man, this whole setup, like in America, is funded by government money outside trying to break America. And then once I saw that, I was like, oh man, we fucked. I was like, we're fucked. Most people don't have no idea all of this shit is going on. However, I do feel this is the President Trump, he knows. He knows the people around him, they know all of this shit. They're telling him. And that's why I prefer him making these policies where if I see him do policies that's weakening the Chinese Communist Party, for me, that's a plus. I'm happy he's doing it. And I hope that probably not reality in his time, but maybe the next president, if it could be a Republican and they follow same suit and they just break down the Chinese economy. And so, but yeah, that's what I see in America is getting attacked. For a time, it felt like it was losing. And to be honest, that dude, Charlie Kirk, he helped tip the balance back to where America can support just enough of the right people to fight China. And for me, that's good enough, because if China becomes number one, South Korea becomes a whole nother country. This country becomes something different. I would probably sell my apartment, other things that I have, and I might just dip out. Like, it'll become something different. And so is it's crazy. There's a spiritual warfare aspect. There is the geopolitics aspects, and what makes it even worse is technically, if you follow the pattern, because I've said this so many times, at least on Facebook, technically around 2027 to 2000, between 2027 2035, the shift in power should go to the Chinese Communist Party. That's the historical run. I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen because it could change things a lot. And so, but the spiritual warfare, though, America was getting smashed. I mean, they're like celebrating people worshiping Satan in music concerts. The whole transgender movement. But even though it's just about money, but it's very satanic about what was going on. And
when America falls,
everything else falls.
The verse will finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
The verse where all Babylon has fallen.
Right. And so
America is the new Babylon at this point in time.
But it's crazy that we are living through history. Like when COVID-19 happened, I was like, yo, we're living through a movie.
Yep.
We're living
a historical
through,
event that will not be free.
Yeah. I am in a freaking movie. Is what I felt like when I was living through COVID-19, right? All the lockdowns in Korea. I was like, yo, this is a straight movie. This is crazy. But really, right now, this period, we are living through a movie. And what are
it's
we?
The
We're
build
40s,
up to
right?
it's the build up to World War III is basically what's happening.
Yeah, when I don't know. I think we'll be old enough to see it, but maybe by the time we're like 80 something, hopefully we live past 90, we'll be watching movies about this time period now. My children or my grandchildren will be watching movies about what is to come in the next like 3 to 8 years. This transition period is going to be wild. And
there was a verse that I just saw that I had shared. Let me find it super quick. We'll just end on this note.
Yeah.
I want you to see this. Listen to this. We'll end on this note. It's very short, very precise. Want to read it?
Yeah. So the old world is dying, and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. Yeah. We're seeing the monsters.
The old world, here one more time for the people in the back.
The old world is dying.
The old world is dying, and the new world struggles to be born. Now is the time of monsters. We're seeing it.
We're seeing it now.
We're living it.
Yeah, we're living it. But that is for this episode. And then we'll run it back again. Maybe next week or the following week. Yeah.
We can go once a week.
Yep. All right. And so, welcome to the Larry David Show, or the David Young Show. All right, everyone. Y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all. All right. Bye. I don't even know how to turn this joint off. Hold on. There's an X right there. Okay. Nice.